All right, let's go over to our correspondent, Alexandra von Nahmen, who has been listening in to President Trump's speech at the United Nations in New York. Alexandra, not your usual run-of-the-mill type of speech that we heard from President Trump. Let's play the beginning of that speech.
In less than 2 years, my administration has accomplished more than almost any administration in the history of our country. America's so true. Didn't expect that reaction, but that's okay.
All right, some slight note of relief there. The UN General Assembly bursting out in laughter. Quite remarkable. On a serious note, though, how did his speech go down?
Well, I think that it was quite unusual for the international audience here to listen to this opening, and it was quite an unusual way to start a speech on an international stage with remarks like these touting one's personal economic accomplishments. For us reporters who cover the White House, however, I have to say that it's not unusual. That's what we see on a daily basis, that the president uses every occasion to talk about his accomplishments. But for the audience here, it was obviously unusual. Therefore, we saw that these opening remarks were met with laughter.
Now, Alexandra, on North Korea, which was also the focus of his speech last year, he referred to the leader of that country as Rocket Man on a suicide mission. This year, he addressed him as honorable friend. Quite a change within just a year, at least in rhetoric.
Yes, indeed. You're right, Leila. Last year I was here reporting on the president's first speech, and as you said, he called Kim Jong-un a rocket man on a suicide mission, and now he is describing him as an honorable man. So what a change, what a shift from threats to flattery. And we have to say that there is fresh hope that progress is being made in talks with North Korea, because the country has pledged to dismantle one of its missile test sites and his major nuclear site. However, we also have to say that we haven't seen yet any evidence that the North Korean regime is really committed to complete denuclearization.
But then, of course, no warming of relations with foe Iran.
Yes, and I would even say that President Trump doubled down on Iran, accusing accusing the Iranian regime of sowing death, destruction and chaos. But he also made a very clear distinction in his speech, a distinction between the Iranian regime and the Iranian people. He called upon all the nations gathered here to support the Iranian people. So that seems to be a strategy here. Of course, many critics of the Trump administration will say that its goal is to bring about a regime change in Iran, but that is something that the Trump administration has strongly denied.
And Alexandra, in closing, President Trump's America First policy, at the heart of his address at the UN. Who was the intended audience?
Well, I think that in this case, he was addressing very clearly the American people and, most of all, his supporters. As we know, we are only a few weeks away from very important midterm elections in which the Democrats are in the lead, according to the latest polls. So they have a good chance to win back the House. And that is, of course, something that Donald Trump doesn't want to see. And therefore, he was addressing his domestic audience, reassuring his supporters that he is sticking to his America First policy and that he is the one who deserves credit for America's growing economy.
DW's Alexandra von Nahmen reporting from the UN in New York. Thank you.